What is going on, my friends? Today is going to be a little bit different video from what I normally do, I guess, to some extent. But first, I do want to give a little bit of an update for the Evo. Also, this is what we're going to be working on today. Go over that in a minute. I did get the head back from the machine shop. I got a call the other day while I was at the DMV, finally getting it swapped over to my name. So this is what we got back. We have the cylinder head back. It is looking pretty good. So yeah, head is boiled and everything. Should be pretty clean. I'm gonna just kind of go through it again just to make absolutely sure we're not gonna have any straight metal in there. So this is on Friday of last week, which makes today Monday, so 3 days has gone by, and I believe they said the block and the crank should be done this week, or they're at least gonna look at them. Ideal path would be they look at it, everything looks good, they cleaned it out for me, just do a quick touch hone on this, and I ordered all my bearings, rings, all that, everything stays stock size and we're good to go. That is like the ideal, because quite frankly, if I have to bore it out, I'll have them bore it out. I can't buy pistons right now. I mean, everything else has come up so much on this car, I just can't swing it at the moment. So that's why I'm hoping everything stays stock size so that we don't have to worry about that. Also, you know, like if they have to machine the crank and all that, it's gonna be an extra expense. This is my 1948 Ford F1 pickup. I inherited this truck from my grandpa back in 2022. He unfortunately did pass back in August, but I've just been doing everything I can to just keep this legacy alive with this thing. Treat it as best I can. I've taken it to one car show thus far. So it's time to really just bring this thing out and hopefully drive it more once I fix a couple problems here. So what are the problems, you might be wondering? First and foremost, this is the one that I had the needing to do because I went to go pick him up from a poker game. He was back in 2022 as well, and it's stupid. Hold on. So this is how you open it. There's these badges here. You see this has a button right here. You push that, and it pulls back the switch in here, and it releases the door. They kind of gotta get greased up. I'm gonna figure out where the spring is on this thing because yeah, it's just not popping open like it should, but should be an easy enough fix. This is stupid though. The seat belt is all the way down here. So I don't know what happened, but I went to go give him a ride to go pick him up for a poker game forever ago, and yeah, the seat belt just kind of got stuck. So we're gonna fix that today, and then kind of move on for everything else here. Probably give a quick tour on this thing after I get that fixed, but yeah, let's look at the seatbelt and see what's going on with it. All right, so it looks like the seatbelt is gonna be right down through here. It looks like if I remove this cover here with this Phillips, I should be able to access it. All right, so it looks like that's there, and then it's these three up here. I'm gonna take these three out, and then we're gonna try and pull out that seatbelt assembly. It's fixed. I just gave it a little tug, and then it just went right in. So I'm gonna get this panel in, and then kind of talk about the truck, kind of show it off, and talk about the history of it. I want to start this intro off by saying I'm so sorry if there's fan noise. I have a fan going over here at this window and a fan going at the door there just to kind of push air through here. It is like 95 degrees today. It is hot, and I want to do stuff. I want to make content. So onto the fun stuff. So this, as I mentioned before, is my 1948 Ford F1. My grandpa built this thing back in, I want to say about 2013, 2014. It was the last street rod he ever built. And this actually came from the middle of a field in Sheridan, Wyoming, I think it was. Yeah, it was Sheridan. Literally just in like a swampy field next to some other cars. Completely rusted out and just in a very sad state. And yeah, he completely custom built this thing from literally the ground up, because obviously you can't use a whole lot of stuff from then when it's all rusted out and whatnot. So the engine in here, I actually don't know what it's out of. So if anyone else might know and you can comment on there, that would be extremely helpful. I'll give you a good look at it. It is a Ford 5.0. I know it's a Windsor motor. I just don't know which one. It's a small block Ford. I know it's out of a Lincoln. I just don't know which one. The entire drivetrain's out of the Lincoln. So like the engine, transmission, kind of more from there, which I'll get into in a minute. But yeah, he put this all together back before I was really into cars. Like, I was kind of into cars. I had a little Honda Civic, and I was like, oh, it's the coolest thing ever. Well, that's not the case now. It's a little 2002 Civic, and didn't really do a whole lot. I K-swapped it, but I mean, that's a whole separate thing. But anyway, yeah, so he built this guy. Basically, put the entire body of the truck, and I think the frame is original to the truck, too. Just put the drivetrain in there. So, I mean, this is the engine, the rear end. I think the drive shaft too is out of the Lincoln, and then the brakes and got those, I believe, are off a Mustang. I don't know what your Mustang. I'll have to eventually get brakes on this thing, but that's a later problem. All of the pinstriping on here was done. This is all done by hand by a guy that actually I might even have his card. This fellow right here. He did all the pinstriping on this thing by hand in one afternoon, and did an amazing job on it. And the truck itself is painted in just a primer. He opted to do that, quite honestly, because he said cost is just cheaper to just do the primer and just leave it in like a mix of blue with the gray. Actually came out really good. I believe he sealed it too, at least I hope so. This thing has had some rain on it. But I mean, it looks amazing. It's unique. It's not what you normally see. He also did custom work up on the front end here. This whole front bumper assembly is completely custom for the 1948 pickup. Basically what he did is he had stock fender. He got another set of fenders and then cut off the front end there and flipped it over and then welded it right here to just mirror the top there. And then he flipped the grill upside down, and it just made this really, really cool front end. So that being said, the truck is sitting on basically an entire custom drivetrain, which means he did fabricate the tank as well. And the battery and everything, all the wiring, all of that is all custom made, but it is running off, I believe, the Lincoln ECU. It is EFI, so it is obviously fuel injected, so it is running the ECU. I believe it's behind the seat, or it's up behind the dash, I don't remember. Again, didn't help him build it, I wish I did. It's a whole separate thing, but it's a big regret of mine. I wish I had the opportunity. So yeah, fuel cell's right here. This is actually where you fill it. Pop the little guy open, fuel cap sitting right here. Kind of a pain in the ass to get out, but it's cool, so it's worth it. Battery's up in this front corner up here underneath this bed. So what you do is you actually take these bolts out at the tailgate here. This will either drop down or come off, and then you slide the entire bed out. And that's how you access the battery, the fuel tank, any of the rear drivetrain, stuff like that. The taillights on here are actually off of a Lincoln as well. That one's custom made, but these guys are custom, but not so custom. They use the Lincoln lenses, but all of the guts on the inside are all LED strips, and they look insanely good. So that being said, let's move on to the interior. As you open it, there are more pinstripes on the inside. The dash is all pinstriped as well. Seat is custom upholstered, matches the wheels on here. There's no headline or anything. It's just all, I think, essentially just painted on. Might be some sort of sound deadening, I'm not sure. Seat belts, I don't know what they're out of, but they're decent. Steering wheel is actually OEM to the truck. This is the original steering wheel, just restored. I don't know how he did it, but yeah, this whole column here is completely original, and again, paint matched everything else. I really need to vacuum in here. I will be doing that before the end of August. I just want to do it. Just because I don't want to do it now, drive it around, and then it gets dirty again. The cluster in here is also out of the Lincoln. All the gauges work, everything. The glove box is also original to the truck. This vent here, also original, does not work. All of the controls here, I believe, are out of the Lincoln. So this is actually the turn signal right here. So that's how you use everything there. I don't remember what all these do. I believe that's the horn. This is a little shift selector with a high-tech wire. He actually didn't want a shift selector on here, you're just gonna count it, but the sheriff ended up having him add it. Go into that in a minute. And then this is actually how you start the truck. That is the ignition. and I believe this is the headlights. Obviously, brake and gas, I think those are original to the truck as well. And then this is the e-brake cable here, and then these are for the lights up here. And these do actually work. So that's kind of cool. Normally when the hood's down and everything, we fold them down, but I always forget to fold them back up before you open up the hood, and then it just stops it. So I just keep them up usually. So yeah, I will kind of go into some of the history on this truck as well as some of the issues that it has that we got to sort out at some points here. So yes, this truck was built completely out of basically an abandoned shelter in Wyoming. When he bought it, there was no title, so he did have to get a title issued here, which is why the sheriff came out, and then one of the things he said was the drivetrain selector, I don't know what you call it. I call it the parental ever since I was a kid because of old TV show. Basically said it has to have the selector on there, so it's in order for it to be street legal. I went into how the front end was customized and like custom cuts and all that. However, the cab altogether and the bed are actually cut too. So what he did is he chopped the top on it. I can't remember how many inches it was. I think it was 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches to drop it down. But what he did is he did not modify the roof at all. So he ended up shortening the cab to meet the roof, which makes it hell for me to drive because it's very short. It was fine for him, not for me. But that's how the roof actually stayed with its original welds, original concave, all that. It's all original. And then once he finished that up, he got it all tacked together, and then he looked at the bed and he said, well, the bed looks weird now because it looks like a long bed with a short cab. So he actually chopped the bed, I believe, 6 inches, and I think the body's 5 inches shorter. With this, he also had to modify the frame. So the frame was shortened, and also he actually notched it over the rear axle, so that's how it's sitting so low in the rear. The front, I think, was able to be kind of modified just using like the Mustang suspension and whatnot. The rear obviously needs to be a little bit different since it is a solid rear axle. Makes it a little bit harder. It is running a 5.0 out of a Lincoln. I don't, again, know which one it is. Full custom fuel system on it. Standard like high pressure fuel pump for the type of vehicle or the type of fuel sending system that it has. As far as weird issues that I am aware of thus far, the only one that I'm really kind of perplexed by, and I'm going to have some street rod guys come over and kind of talk to me about it. I might talk to them when we're at the Rock and Rumble in a few weeks. The truck, once it gets up to temperature and after you've driven it for a little bit, will just randomly start trying to die. If it's like at a stop and you go to start again, it just drops and shuts off for no reason. But it fires right back up and then you can drive it again. I just don't know what would cause that, because like you can be cruising and it does just fine. Every once in a while I feel a little bit of a cut, but not too much. It's definitely not as noticeable as if you're at a full stop, so I'm really curious what that is. Maybe it's not getting enough fuel. I feel like if it wasn't getting enough fuel, maybe it would be doing it also at a cold start and everything leading up to when it fully warms up. So I'm not sure. The other thing is this engine is completely original to the car. He didn't even do the spark plugs on it. I don't know why. But he did go through and just kind of like touch up some stuff and just kind of make it look pretty. So at least there's that. I wish I had the knowledge and the skill set that I do now, because I would have helped him go through the engine. I would have probably Cerakoted and powder coated almost everything on there just to make it look really, really nice. But this is something I can always do in the future. I do plan on always having this engine in here, but I do want to do a little bit of stuff to it. Like I'd like to throw a cam in it at some point. But as far as everything else goes, like it's just fine as it is. It looks insane. It's very unique. It obviously sentimental. I don't ever plan on getting rid of this truck. It would have to be something pretty, even if the truck was total, I think I would still work on getting it back and fixing it. But I think that about covers it for right now. This truck fortunately did not need much work. My other street rod, which I'll probably be working on either before I get the 4263 back for the Evo 9 or after. We're gonna have to go through the fuel tank on there. Something inherently I'm looking forward to because I've already done it once. But it has to get done. We also have to get tires for it and then just some other little stupid stuff like that just to get it ready to go. But yeah, this one will be at the Rock and Rumble here in a couple weeks. I'll probably be posting about that pretty soon just because I would love to get this thing down there. And if anyone checks it out, send them my YouTube and everything. But for now, I think that's about it. I appreciate you watching this far. If you actually made it this far into the video. I definitely plan on having this thing on the channel more and more. I just gotta fix some like little weird things here and there like we just talked about, and then kind of track down this fuel system mystery. And eventually I would like to go through and give the engine a full refresh, but that's not gonna be for a little bit because obviously I got life stuff in the way. Got this whole Evo 9 that needs to be corrected and cleaned up and obviously running. So I mean, this thing will be in the background a lot, but it'll be around. I'd like to get it to the point where I can just drive it when I want to, because right now I just don't really trust it with the weird running, stopping issue, shutting off kind of thing. That's pretty much the video. I'm sure I'll have more to add later on, but for now, closing it out. Appreciate you watching, and yeah, subscribe for more because we got plenty more content for everything.